The power of thought leadership, how to establish yourself as a thought leader in your industry. In the next couple of minutes, I'm going to share with you how you can establish yourself as a thought leader in your industry. First, let's talk about what is a thought leader and why you would even want to be a thought leader. My name is Erica Leary, and I work with consultants who want to make a bigger impact. They hire me to help them attract, communicate, and convert quality clients through my 30 and 30 thought leadership content system, saving them 20 extra hours of work without having to spend any extra money on ads. A thought leader is somebody that people go to for advice. They listen to when they have some type of advice. They listen to when they have a certain opinion or advice or viewpoint on something within their industry. People seek them out, which means that it gets you in front of more people in your industry. It means that you're kind of the go-to person. You're the person that they want to get a quote from or ask about something or find out what it is that you're doing in your industry. Let's talk about what thought leadership is and how it differs from being an expert. Most of you are already experts in what you do. You've been doing it for 20, 30 years. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing. You are an expert. But being a thought leader is kind of a step above that. That means that people are actually looking to you for your opinion and your advice. It's when you are now creating your own material. You are showing up on video. You're talking about what you believe in, what your thoughts are, what your opinions are, and people are listening. People want to hear what you have to say. So as an expert, you know all of this stuff, but maybe either nobody knows you know it or just that one person who you're speaking with knows that you know it. You can kind of see the difference there. If you look at the benefits of being a thought leader, especially as a coach or a consultant, you can imagine, right? Visibility. If you're a thought leader, you're putting yourself out there. You're putting your ideas out there. You're putting your intellectual property, which is what we call IP. You're putting your own intellectual property out there so that people know that you know what you're talking about, expert, but that they can also watch your videos. They can see you on stage. They can invite you to speak at a summit. They can hear you on a podcast, whatever it is, whichever way, maybe read your blog. However it is that they're getting the information from you, you're putting yourself out there. In doing that, you have more visibility, more credibility, because now they see you all over. They see that somebody else wants to hear from you, which makes them want to hear from you, which makes them want to learn from you or know what you have to speak about as well. And of course, influence. You have influence. The more you're out there, the more people that listen to you, the more influence you have, right? So what are the key elements of thought leadership? Well, number one, we kind of talked about already. You have to be an expert in something. You need to be an expert. So if you are just starting off on your consulting journey and you're like, I can't be a thought leader, you actually can. Why? Because you have 20 or 30 years of experience. If you're 20 years old, can you be a thought leader? Probably not. You don't have the experience. You haven't been in business very long. You may not have what you need to have. But at this stage of the game, most of the people who are in my world are around my age, and you've got plenty to bring to the table. You have experience. You have examples of things that have happened or of things that you've seen. You can extract from all of those things and create an opinion that you believe in and that you stand behind. Another characteristic of a thought leader is authenticity. So before I talked about expertise, I love Tony Robbins. I talk a lot about Tony Robbins, right? But my own material is not Tony Robbins' material. I might take something I learned from Tony Robbins and something I learned from 30 other people over the years, and I have created what I think is, the way to do it, or my knowledge that I want to impart on you. So that's kind of where the difference is. There are a lot of people who get trained under somebody and then license their material and teach their material. And that's beautiful. If that's where you're at and that's what you want to do, that's amazing. You're an expert at whatever it is that you're teaching. But to become a thought leader, you have to have your own IP. You have to have your own intellectual property. In my case, maybe you know the 30 and 30, which is the content system that I've been talking about a lot lately. So 30 and 30 is the content system that will help you become that thought leader. And that is what you need to create is what is your system? What is your formula? What is your roadmap to get people to understand what you're teaching them or to get from A to B? Do you see where I'm going with that? Okay. And so we say authenticity because it's your authentic, it's your material, it's your authentic material, but it's also your voice. And by voice, I mean, your vocal cords. Maybe if you're speaking in a podcast or if you're speaking in video, it's your literal voice. But by voice, I really mean your thoughts and your opinions. That can come out in a blog. Now, let's talk about that for a quick second. There's a lot of talk about AI taking over the world, marketers using it all of the time. If you are a thought leader, you are not copying, pasting AI because you're not bringing your own voice into it. We need to have your voice in every single thing that you are producing, in every time that you show up, in every way, every time, however you want to say it. Every time that you show up, it needs to be your voice we're hearing. It doesn't mean you can't quote Tony Robbins. I know I talk about him too much, or Oprah Winfrey, or whatever it is. But the idea and the concept need to be you and what you're talking about. So what is your long-term vision and how does that look? In my world, my long-term vision is thought leader. Some people want to be seen and heard and maybe not arrive at thought leader, right? That might seem so grandiose. I like to say it's a BHAG, right? That big, hairy, audacious goal. You got nervous, didn't you? Big, hairy, audacious goal. So I like to look at it like that. What is that BHAG? Maybe in your vision, in your industry, where do you see that going? And for me personally, I see experts, coaches, consultants becoming thought leaders. I want them to take a step beyond where they are right now. So wherever you are right now, I'm looking a little bit past there for you, right? I want it to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more grandiose than where you are right now. And that's my vision. And through that, I'm going to help you get there a lot faster than, spending the next 30 years of your life trying to become that person. So my vision is to do it faster and easier and make it accessible to as many coaches and consultants as humanly possible. What's your vision in your industry? What's your vision in your industry? How do you want that to look? What do you want that to look like? Let's talk about some thought leaders in the industry. A big one is Gary Vee. Everybody knows who Gary Vaynerchuk is, right? Does that make him a thought leader? Well, everybody knows who Tom Cruise is. Does that make him a thought leader? Maybe, maybe not. It depends, right? Gary Vee, I would say, in my industry, is a thought leader. He is way ahead of where everybody else is in terms of digital marketing. Digital marketing is a huge part of what I do and what I teach my clients to do through the 30 and 30 content, right? He was talking about producing a lot of content and being out there long before this year. And I was actually talking about that too in my business. Why? Because I followed Gary Vee. I believed in what he talked about and I have spun it in my own way. But a lot of my vision is based on him saying, hey, this is what you need to be doing. A lot of other people at that time, a lot of other thought leaders were talking about staying in your lane and being, very targeted and only being in one place at one time, which, okay, we know we can't be in two places at once. And so I don't want to backtrack so much, but it does mean focusing on one and adding to it and then adding to it and adding to it. Whereas a lot of coaches and consultants, you'll notice they talk about one thing and that's all they talk about, that one thing. I don't believe that. I don't think that that's what we should do. I think we should master this one thing and add to it, add to it, add to it, add to it. Hence the thought leadership, right? Don't stop at being an expert. And in your field, can you continue to become a bigger expert? Absolutely, right? You need to continue to learn that. Another key element in being a thought leader is continuing your knowledge and your learning and research that you do. Think about this. Not everybody in your industry wants to do that. I totally geek out on business growth. I totally geek out on marketing and different strategies. That's fun to me. Not everybody in my industry, which is the coaching industry, thinks that's fun. I got your back. So that's where I show up. I show up to teach them. I show up to make sure that it's super easy for them. I have done for you so they don't even have to learn it or do it. They can just jump right in and move on from there. I make it easy for them so that they don't have to learn that stuff that I find fun and geeky. And it may not be in their wheelhouse. Do you see what I'm saying? In your industry, what is it that you can do or learn and share that knowledge with everybody else? That makes you a thought leader as well. Even if you're sharing other people's knowledge, remember, you're going to spin that, group it all together, get a bunch of stuff, put it in the washing machine, mix it all around, and then come up with your own ideas and vision and opinions on that. And that's what really makes you that thought leader. So don't just learn something, put it out there. Learn something, give it to them, and put your spin on it, your examples on it, your opinions on it. And then eventually you're going to end up taking that and putting it in with something else and mixing it all around, and it'll become your potion, your IP. What tips and strategies are there that can help you become a thought leader? Well, I just mentioned a couple of them. You can learn from somebody else and then bring it out there to the world. Now, from that, I don't want you to just copy paste, right? I want you to extract what you got, summarize, think of how you can do it in your own words, in your industry. Learn something from somebody else in your industry. Take that, summarize it, add to it, add a twist, add an opinion, maybe add something controversial. Don't agree with it. Whatever it is, you're going to take that and bring it to your audience, but you're going to add your voice to it. That's one way. Another way that you can establish yourself as a thought leader is learning from other industries. This is really kind of different, but being in marketing for so many years, my clients really value that I've worked with so many different types of businesses. What does that mean? I bring to the table ideas that aren't necessarily the norm in their industry, which makes them stand out, which makes them different. So how can you do that in your industry? How can you look at another industry and bring some of the ideas that they're doing or what are they talking about? Bring that into your industry and see what you can add, how you can spin it. What kind of new ideas can you get from that? All right, one last thing. One of the biggest strategies of becoming a thought leader is positioning. You need to figure out who you are, what you're all about. That positioning is very key to you becoming a thought leader, right? So I want people to look at me and know she is a business consultant. I'm not just a generic coach or a life coach. My consulting does bring in personal development to it. But my specialty, what I really know a lot about, is business growth and marketing expertise. That's what I bring to the table. And I've had 15 years of knowledge. So a lot of other coaches in my industry are new. Maybe they just started off as coaches this year or in 2020. And so they bring 20 years of experience, but not 20 years of coaching experience. I bring 20 years of business experience, marketing experience, and coaching experience to the table. So I can talk about that coaching experience, that business growth and marketing experience, and I can bring that to the table and help them grow their business. I can help them start, build, and scale their coaching business. A lot of other coaches can't do that. What does that mean about my positioning? I say it positions me as the business coach for coaches. I am the one and only one-stop shop every coach needs. Why? Because I've got the business and the marketing expertise I can help them on. I have the done-for-you services. I know exactly where they are in their business. I'm a coach. I've been there. I started, right? I grew. I scaled. So I know every step of that business, and I can help them where they're at, and I can do it from a viewpoint of a business consultant, which not a lot of other coaches can offer. Let's wrap it up really quickly. I just want you to know that there is a big difference between being an expert and a thought leader. And not every single expert needs to become a thought leader. Not everybody wants to be visible. Not everybody thinks that they need more credibility in their business. Not everybody thinks that they need to show up every day and be authentic, or maybe for whatever reason, they don't want to. I encourage you, if you are a coach or a consultant, I encourage you to think beyond that. I encourage you to think about becoming a thought leader in your industry for so many reasons. If you want to have an impact, imagine the impact that you can have if you become a thought leader. Your impact is now a lot bigger than just that one person you're helping. You can continue to do one-on-one consulting, but if you bring your voice out and you are showing up on video, in blogs, on podcasts, in any other way that you can, on stage, wherever it is, if you can think of other ways to share your knowledge with the rest of the world, your impact is limitless. Your impact is just limitless, right? You can reach as many people as you can dream of reaching. So I encourage you to do that, even if you want to stay one-on-one coaching. And I believe in that. I believe there is a lot more. I believe there is a lot of benefit in one-on-one coaching. But I also know that there are a lot of people that need my help. And I want my message and my way of thinking and my thought process to get out to them, because I don't think that every coaching consultant has the same voice that I do. I don't think that each one of them has the experience that I have. I don't think that each one of them values every single thing. And you can tell I'm a happy person. You can tell I love life and I love living life. And to me, having that feeling of being alive is so much more important than anything else. So although I know how to make you the profits, and I do focus on that, I know that the biggest thing that we want to focus on as coaches and consultants is making that impact, seeing somebody have that aha moment in their life. And I want you to be able to have that same thing times 10, times 20, times 1,000. You dream it, but those numbers can grow. And I want you to think on that level. All right. Thank you so much. This is Erica Leary, and here is to you.